Hello everyone, how are y'all? How are things going? Are you worried about flamingos going places? Don't be worried. It's not about that. It is something else and it is connected to your class 12. Is it? Did I ask you about that? Yes, I asked you about it. It's because I wanted you to think about the places that you're going to. How many places are you going to? Are you Sophie? Are you Jansi? Are you yourself? What is happening in life? So, when I ask you all these questions, you might be wondering about all the places that you have been to in your imagination. Am I right? Yes, I know that. So, let's not waste much time, and here we go for the sake of us to get clarity about going places, which is your class 12 syllabus, and it is one of those things which is close to reality. Why is it? It's because we love to dream, we love to imagine, and what are the things that we'd like to do? So many, the list is endless. So let's concentrate on this going places written by A.R. Barton. So let me read out a little of it and explain some. So about the author profile, we do not know much about him. And he emphasizes his role as a modern writer and he focuses on contemporary social themes. The meaning of the word contemporary is something interconnected to the present. Like what are the problems that people are facing nowadays and how should we overcome them? Why should we bother about the problems in the past? We shouldn't, isn't it? So let's think about what this writer has in store for us. And the next thing, what is the context of going places? Look, there is industrial revolution which has brought about a lot of change in the lives of people. But everything has the flip side. And that is the reason why Barton had focused on this. It is because it is published in the 1990s, when it's almost a decade ago or more than that, that the Industrial Revolution had been established firmly. It reflects the industrial England's socio-economic activities and the class division. See here, whichever country it is, the class division is always there. And once upon a time, if at all we take India, we know the way people were divided on the basis of caste. But now, it is money. The socio-economic background plays a vital role, whichever country it is. And what about the last one? What about the core narrative focus? The whole story is focusing on Sophie. She's a teenage girl, just like y'all, a girl, a boy, whoever it is. And she has lofty dreams, such huge dreams, and she is navigating the chasm between fantasy and working class reality. See, whenever you think about the gap between the reality and the fantasy, it is unbridgeable gap. But she wants her imagination to be true. She's working for that in her imagination again. So let's see how this lesson goes. So what is the setting and the context? Again, do not forget, it is the socio-economic backdrop. And in this, we have the working class locale because it is set in the British neighborhood and it is reflecting on the post-industrial urban life and it is marked by economic constraints. I already told you that revolution, industrial revolution had the positive side of it, and here, even after such a long gap also, there are people suffering. And we also have a temporal setting, that is, it is in the late 20th century in England. It is the late 20th century England and it is the time when the industrial jobs were declining and the youth started to get more of aspirations. And that is a sign of positivity and that's the reason why Barton had concentrated on that. What about the cultural landscape? Here we should understand that the youth culture shaped by celebrities and they're fascinated with the media and the fantasy. And social mobility remains elusive. The thing is, everyone wanted to be in the top, and that too just because of being close to the celebrity. See, this is a fantasy world. The number of celebrities and number of normal people, we do not have a ratio which can be said that yes, it's good. We cannot. So, what are the things which makes that girl, Sophie, go into the dream world, and what does she want? Because these are the key events in this going places. The first thing is her dream. When does it begin? See, she fantasizes. Why does she fantasize? It's because she's a teenager. And the other thing is she's just going to complete her senior secondary just like you all. And so, what does she fantasize about? She thinks so many things. She feels that she has to do something, like maybe she is a person who can become a fashion designer like Mary Quant. She can have her own things, like then she says she can even have her own boutique. She wants to do so many things. She wants to become an actress. She wanted to work as this, that, this. See, the reason for that is she just wanted to be in a world which is not real. That's the main thing. And she also imagines that she has met the footballer, the famous footballer in those days whose name is Danny Casey. So what else is there with the clash of reality and imagination? When we talk about her family, it is her father who is a person who will pull her down to reality. He makes her understand that, come on, this is not going to happen. He's harsh. He knows that the girl is all the time in a different world. And so, what does he do? He pulls her down. And the same thing is done by Jhansi. Jhansi is a girl who is down to earth. And she all the time makes this girl understand that they are earmarked just to one thing immediately after completing their education, and that is the biscuit factory. How much ever Jhansi reminds her, Sophie is not bothered to pay attention to that. She just dreams and dreams and dreams. So what is the emotional climax that we have? Sophie waits alone in vain for Danny, highlighting the heartbreak of illusion. So where does she wait? Why does she wait? See, she wanted to actually talk to her brother. Her brother is a person whom she loves a lot in the family. He's an elder brother who had left college some 3 years ago, and she wanted to talk. The writer says that words are in his mouth as if rocks are stuck in the ground. How tough it is to pull them out? Extremely tough, right? In the same way, Sophie wanted her brother to speak. He is not a person who is extrovert. He doesn't speak much. He is for himself. He is in his own shell. So, what does she do? She goes, just tells a statement. I met Danny Casey. That is her statement. When she says that statement, what does her brother Jeff do? He looks at her suddenly and then he says, what did you say? I don't believe it, he says. That is the reason why here, later on she tells her brother that she also has a date with him. Is it possible for a normal girl who lives in an industrial area to date a person like Danny Casey? It's not possible, but she makes it believable. Though her brother doesn't believe, he tells her that, a person like Danny Casey might have a string of girls. And she, what she says? No, he's not such a kind of a person. No. And she says that she could have shown a proof. How? In case she had a paper and a pen, she could have taken an autograph, she says. But she tells that the next time when she's going to meet him, she'll surely get that. So let's see how it is. Do you think her heart breaks with the illusion? It does. So what does she do then? How does she make this imaginative world and her ambitious nature clash? She is all the time, in a different kind of a glamorous world. She doesn't want the working class to be the same for her. She wants to be in the top-notch place. And that's the reason she's like that. And how does it become? It becomes something naive, something vulnerable. Why is it naive? It's because, you see, she knows that she cannot be in that top-notch society where celebrities are there. And so her condition is delicate. She's not able to come to terms with reality. She struggles a lot. What is reality? What is fantasy? And so she gets emotional disillusionment. When does she get that? She gets it in the fag end of the story where she is able to see the ghost of Danny Casey. Ghost in the sense, don't think that it is the ghost which is coming to scare you. Not at all. It is her imagination, and she feels that he has come again for the second time and he is talking to her. So what is this about? It's a symbol of adolescent aspirations. Why is it adolescent aspirations? It's because youngsters aspire for such kind of things. And it is the youthful hope. It is the pain of unrealized dreams. It is again because of this industrial area where working class people are only there. I hope you understood till here. In case you're not able to, go back again, listen to it, make your own notes, and check it out for yourself. Yes? Do comment. I would love to listen. Do I listen? No, please. I feel that I listen. I shall be delighted to see your comments. So what else happens? Many things happen, and I might repeat certain points. It's because you'll be able to get to know what is what easily. We have invisible barriers in Sophie's world. It's because of these working class constraints. See, other than these working class constraints and the way things go on, in the family also there are other things. For example, when we see the mother, you know, she's all the time bent in front of the sink, scouring the vessels. Her back is roundish and her neck, you know, all the time it's turned sideways. It's with a crick. It's because she doesn't have a say in anything. There is this male domination indirectly, and we can call it as male chauvinism. It is here the working class which we can see in many ways. What are they? You know, they have limited opportunities, and upward mobility in the post-industrial society was extremely rigid. And even in this socio-economic condition, there were industrialized social limits. Why? You know, there are two characters in the story. And what are those two characters? One is Jhansi and the other one is Sophie's father. Both of them accept that their life is that, nothing other than that. Why is it? It's because they know that they have to be with those limitations. You see, repeatedly that girl Jhansi tells that they are earmarked to the biscuit factory. And the father, we see this father two times and the way he speaks. First time when the story opens, the girl, after she expresses her desire to become something high, not something with the same class of society, with Jhansi, they both part their ways. Again, this is symbolic. One towards reality, one towards fantasy. So after they part, the girl, Sophie, she comes close to her house. She stands there and it starts drizzling lightly. She says, if I come into money, I'm going to buy a boutique. And you know what the father says? If you're going to get that much money, you'll buy a home, a good home. So we can understand how it is. The father is just not able to accept his daughter's dreams, imaginations. It's because he feels that it's not possible at all. And this girl sees her father eating. How is he? He's not even neat. He's come maybe from his workplace and he's eating. He's grimy and he's still eating. Later on, we see when the father is sitting in front of the TV, there he is neat, fresh. He sits there. He doesn't even want to look at that girl like that when she's speaking. His total concentration is only on the TV and the show that is going on. There's little brother of this girl, Sophie. What does he say? You know what he says? The comment that he makes, it's like he's walking in the footsteps of his father. His name is Derek. And he says, she thinks money grows on trees, right? That is how the girl is made to feel. This little boy also comments when she expresses her desire about opening a boutique. So it is socio-economic condition as well as the male ego which is there. And lot of aspirations, extremely doubled resistance is there because of these constraints only. When you look at that picture in the background, you can see how it is. That is how people did the work, mechanized. Just do again and again and again. That is what the world was so. There is inner turmoil and there are external constraints. It is because this girl, it is a psychological conflict for Sophie. She's battling between what? Her fantasy, the weight of the reality. The weight of the reality is pulling her down and her fantasy world is making her fly high. She wants to be somewhere else, but not at all in the place where she is born and brought up, which is an industrial area. And what about the social conflict? Again, dreams are clashing, a limitation, working class life. Is it limitation? There are limitations in the working class life. And so she is all the time, in a kind of emotional resolution. And this emotional resolution is in the end particularly where it is like a heartbreak for her. In her imagination only, she realizes that she's not going to meet Danny Casey, but then she makes it happen once there and then she stops it. There is a lot of subtlety and psychological depth too. It is because of the introspective tone, like inner questioning. The narrative, it goes deep into Sophie's internal world and it emphasizes her emotional turbulence, the disturbance which is happening for her internally. And there is also this detached narration. See, when the story or anything goes on in first person narration, we get into the shoes of that particular character and we feel it. But when it is third person narration, you become an onlooker. Get a little bit of empathy, sympathy, you will be able to go into that terms, but you won't feel it totally. And that is why it is detached narration. And you will also be able to understand the irony. What is the irony? How there are dreams for this girl, Sophie, and what actually is her reality. Dreams are lofty, reality is something like underground. That is what is there. So what's the next thing? It is about the narrative duality in Going Places. There is romantic idealism and there is stark realism. There is also narrative balance. What does it mean? When you take about this romantic idealism, it is about Sophie's visions. They embody the romantic ideals of beauty, fame, escape. She wanted to be in a different world. And when it comes to stark realism, it is about the setting of the other characters which represent the economic limitations and the societal norms. All the other characters. Of course, her elder brother Jeff is a little bit different. For him, it is like he's suppressing his imagination, his dreams, and he's trying to be away from this world of what his father is in. When it comes to this narrative balance, the writer, Barton, he shows both of these things. That is romantic idealism and the stark realism, which makes us get a little bit of empathy, and there is also some kind of, criticism that we can make. And so it is balancing like that. Now, what are the things that we can learn from this Going Places? We can understand the value of realism. It is because the story gives a lot of importance to limitations and grounding aspirations. See, there is nothing wrong to have aspirations, but If they cannot become true, then it's of no use. See, when you wanted to make your dreams come true, you need to work towards it, isn't it? And when you're not working towards it and you just dream and dream and dream, it's not going to become real. And that's the reason why we should understand that value of realism is high. And there is also the next point that we should learn, that is the impact of class and the environment. See, when you are in a better kind of an environment, you'll be able to do things better. When you are in a higher class, you'll be able to do things in that style. But here what is happening? Sophie is in a different kind of a class, a low class, which is only with industrial laborers. And so it reveals the low socio-economic background, and it shapes the dreams and self-perception. What idea do you have? Like, you ask yourself, what is my idea? What is my dream? What do I want to do? What do I want to become? All these things come again and again and again. And the next thing is about how we should understand the adolescent psychology. It is because it offers insight into how youth construct identity through fantasy and emotion. See, only when a person dreams, they'll be able to do something. That is the reason why dreaming is given a lot of importance. That's the reason why whatever inventions and discoveries were made once upon a time were by dreamers. So it is a powerful tool to change your situation, provided you work to make it better. So you are the one who is responsible for it. And in this lesson, Going Places, indirectly they are making us understand that it's essential to follow your dream only with work. Is it clear? And now what is the core message? It all the time talks about fantasy and socio-economic restrictions. The narrative style also, it strengthens and it makes us get deep into the story. We also understand the value of education, because without education, you cannot go to any heights in life. Unless you are educated well, you can't reach anywhere. So focus on what is at hand now, so that you'll be able to do better in your future. Think about the present, not about the past, not about the future. Do the things rightly now, you will be the best in the future. And that's all. Do well. All the best. I am Krishna Priya from Vidya Lakshmi School. Please do like, share and subscribe. Bye-bye with another video soon.